Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Putty Mod YouTube channel. And on the bench today, what looks like a Mazda Miata differential is in fact a Fiat 124 Spyder differential. Basically, these newer Miata and the ND Miata and the Fiat 124 are kind of the same car, but not the same car. They share a lot of the same stuff. Different engine, different fascia, some interior appointments are different. But the differential is basically the same. As physically, it's the same. Internally, there are differences, especially in gear ratio. So what we're going to be doing here is actually taking this 124 Spyder rear and outfitting it with this Osgiken LSD, and it's going to be fitted into a 2020 Mazda Miata. It's an NA Mazda Miata, and he's going to be going from, let's see, what is the ratio here? We're at a 286 on the Miata, and we are at a 345 on this Fiat. So that's a pretty good jump. That's going to really shorten it up and lively up this car. It's going to give it, some needed down low grunt, I would say. It's going to affect the top speed somewhat, but it will definitely scoot through the gears a lot quicker. So acceleration is definitely going to improve. This is out of a 2019 Fiat, had 53,000 miles on it when it met its demise. And other than that, it's pretty much all straightforward. It has been inspected before I got to it. That's why you see these loose bolts here. And they just wanted to make sure everything looked good inside before it was sent here for the modifications. And we have new bearings from Mazda, seals and such. So this is going to be a nice refresh and a nice LSD added to the mix. So stand by and follow along as we install this really nice 1.5 way Osgiken LSD. All right, we are opened up now, and you can see what one of these things looks like. It's upside down right now. This is not how it sits in the car. It's just easier to turn them over, remove the cover, which is also the bearing cap for this rear end. So it's like a clamshell. So there's no actual internal bearing cap on these. The rear cover is just that. You can see this is an open differential. The Spyder gears just turn freely. This is perfectly good for most every type of use. Other than when on the track, it can be a disadvantage, to be a one-wheel peel there. And if you lift, it's just, disastrous because you lose power. But anyway, that's what we're going to be installing this Osgiken for, so we can make a better advantage on the track and make the car a lot more track worthy with that 1.5 way clutch type LSD. All right, I want to get this out, remove the ring gear bolts and all this other bearings and your shims here. You can see where your shims are. You have a spacer and then the actual shims, same on this side as well. So we're going to go ahead and remove those, remove the seals, and then start getting this stuff all transferred over to our Osgiken. All right, we have everything separated out. I'm going to clean all these parts here, so we have nice clean parts to install on our new Osgiken LSD. All right, everyone, we are up to the fun part here. We're going to take this bit of material out in order to clear the new Osgiken LSD. The case has been cleaned, all the internal parts are out of it. I still put a rag down in the hole, I don't know, I just want to make sure I get as little down there as possible because I want to go ahead and clean everything really thoroughly again, but still just to prevent anything going to places you don't want it to go. I cover up everything before I do any little bit of grinding, which I'm getting ready to do right now. All right, we are back, made our necessary clearance in here. And you can just use like a little, Dremel tool, grinder, angle grinder of some sort. Hand tools if you don't have that, at your access. And you need to, I'm just going to try to get it in there. I backlit it so I could try to show you guys the best I can. And what you're doing is removing some of that material off the webbing of this case. And we have perfectly good clearance now. And everything's good. No issues. It sits all the way into the case. It's not going to be have anything obstructing it. And this is unnecessary. So if you guys are looking at putting an LSD in one of these things, LSDs are usually larger than the open differential that comes from these things factory, and they don't have a clearance issue, obviously, because they're factory. But when you go into the aftermarket, sometimes you got to do a little fitting, and that's exactly what we did here. And it's right there. You can kind of see the window, so you can see that it's perfectly clear, and there's no problems with that LSD. Now it will not interfere with this third member. All right, let me get this thing cleaned out really well. You want to remove everything inside this rear end to do this work, because you don't want to contaminate the bearings, your seals, or anything like that. So everything has to be gutted, everything has to be cleaned. So you're looking at a complete rebuild, more or less. Even if you use your old stuff, because you have no mileage on it and it's not war or anything, so you're just going to put the old stuff back in. It's still essentially coming down to a complete reset up of this rear end. If you add that LSD, it's not just a direct drop in. Unfortunately, you do have to clear it, and that's going to make a big mess inside here. And really, to make sure you get all that material out of here, you have to disassemble this rear end completely. All right, let me keep moving on here and clean everything out. Start setting up the pinion and the ring gear, see what we got. Okay, everything's pressed into place, cleaned, and we're going to go ahead and put our pinion back in. We have our distance piece, our new nut, and I just wanted to show you guys the difference between the old Miata and this new Miata. That is pretty substantial. It's pretty crazy, right? Thread is the same for the nut, so that doesn't change. All right, this is old flange. This is 94 to 2000 ever, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way into the end, NC. This is the flange that you would have had. And you can see it works on the brand new ND, no problem, fits just like it should. All right, and this is the brand new ND on the old NB pinion here, and it does fit. I did measure it, it was correct. It was just a little tight, and it went on. So these flanges are still interchangeable from the beginning to now still. Nuts the same still, but obviously you can tell the pinion, there's no way this is going to fit inside this rear end. It's too short. Physically completely different. I've already tried one of these in the old case. There's no way I can modify to make this work either. So this gear is exclusive to the ND case. All right, here we go. Beautiful, just beautiful. All right, we have the indicator set up, show backlash here, and where are we at? Okay, we're on the 0. All right, there we go. We're at 3.5 thousandths. That's consistent around the gear, 3.5 thousandths, which is very excellent. Got a beautiful pattern, so everything looks really good. And all we have to do now is get our half a clamshell back on here, the cover, get it buttoned up, put the new seals in, and she's ready to go. All right, now that we're all set up, I do not have a Honda Bond seal in here. All I did was close this clamshell up so I could do a test run of this differential before our final set. Basically, what I can do is I can check, make sure backlash is correct, and I can also make sure that all the clearances are correct in this way I'm doing it right now. So let's go ahead and turn this thing and make sure our clearances are good. We'll have a witness mark on that LSD if I'm not good, and I can adjust from there. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Let's get it started here. Got good preload on everything. All right, perfect. It's a little hard to do with one hand when I'm not doing video. It's just a much easier job, but I wanted to show you guys how it's done. Now that we've turned it, I want to go ahead and take the rear of the cover, rear end of this differential off. and we're going to inspect everything and make sure we're good. All right, we are back. Got everything back opened again after our test fitting and checking backlash and all that good stuff. Everything's perfect. There's no witness marks on the LSD, so I know our clearances are good. I've dated the LSD, so we know when this thing was done. We have our Honda Bond sealant, which we will be using to seal this puppy up. And we're going to get our torque set for our bearing cap bolts as well as our cover bolts. It's a kind of a strange rear end the way they did this thing, but you know, we got it covered, we can handle it. And stay tuned, let me get this sealant on here. I'll bring you guys back after I do that. And it's a little hard doing this stuff with one hand. The tripod thing kind of crapped out on me. I got to get another one. Stand by. All right, perfect. We have our Honda Bond seal on. Now, these lower bearing cap bolt holes are through and through, so we want to make sure that we get sealant up inside there, so it chases around the thread and we have a good seal. We don't have any seepage of any kind of gear oil coming through there, because you definitely don't want to leak, and that's how we do it. Anyway, everything looks really nice, looks really clean. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the clamshell on for the last time and get this thing buttoned up. Okay, everything's all sealed up. I'm putting in the axle seals now. This one's already set. I'm coming around here getting ready to set this one, and I figured I'd share with you guys a little FYI. When you get these seals in these packages from Mazda, they're stapled together. Here's one of these little staples here. Maybe you can catch that on film. And what happens is, if you're not careful and you're not looking for it, these little suckers will get stuck inside the grease bead that's on these seals. So be mindful and look for that when you put these seals in. Make sure your seals are completely clear of any of these staples, because those are stainless steel, and as far as I know, I'm pretty sure they're stainless steel, but anyway, they're steel nonetheless, and they will definitely cause trouble for you if this gets inside the mesh of that differential. You don't want that. So be mindful of those little staples when you get your seals and take them out of the packages, that they don't have them hanging around inside that grease. All right, we're going to go ahead and drive this last seal into place. Again, I don't have the tripod right now anymore, so these are a pretty light press. So I was able to push them in almost by hand. So this is just a simple little drive with this rubber mallet. You can see how it's going here. If I was doing this two-handed without this phone in my hand, I would have had this done already. Oops. All right, listen, let me knock this foolishness off and get this last seal in and finish up the video. All right, perfect. Got that seal drived in properly now, and no little staples in it. Looks great. Name goes in before the quality. Take two. The name goes on after the quality goes in. Yeah, there you go. Stole that from Ford. Anyway, well, there it is. Our little Mazda Miata / Fiat 124 differential with a 345 gear ratio and an Osgiken limited slip LSD. Pretty sweet little job there. Really looks good. Bone stock other than what we did on the inside. So nothing to see here, which is kind of cool. Very stealthy other than our little sticker there. Up on the next job, or soon to be the next job anyway, just a little teaser pic. This is a GearX gear. This is a 4:5:7 ratio. It is customer supplied or client supplied, and looks good, brand new. And we're going to be doing this install here shortly. So stay tuned for that if you want to see that get put in. And that's going into a Honda S2000 gearbox differential. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I was asked previously about torque specifications on this, cover bolts and bearing cap bolts here on this cover, this clamshell. And where you want to be at is about 35 foot-pounds on these cover bolts. There's 6 of them, 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. And then you have your 4 bearing cap bolts. And this is going to be around 85 foot-pounds. Okay, this is a large bolt. It's got a fine thread, so it does require more torque than you would think, you know. But that is where it is at. So you're looking at 85 foot-pounds on your bearing cap bolts and 35 foot-pounds on your cover bolts. So what you can do is you bring all these things down nice and evenly, taking your time. Don't over tighten any one of them or torque any one of them down before you get to another. So you're doing everything in steps, crisscross patterns, coming top to bottom, side to side. Same with your bearing cap bolts. This one, this one, this one, this one. Then you come back, and when you put this torque load on these, you're going to do these in steps. So start out with like 55 foot-pounds, and then crank up your wrench to 70, and then go ahead and do it in a crisscross pattern. Come back, and then bring it up to 80. Do your crisscross pattern, and then your 85 final torque setting. These you're going to step up as well, 20, 25, 30, 35 foot-pounds. And again, do it in a pattern. Don't do them right next to each other, all one on one at one time. And this way you get a nice even push on this, a press on this, and you don't have anything, you know, cocked or anything like that. You don't want that trouble. Believe me, you don't want that trouble, because if you screw up threads on this thing, it's going to be a mess. You're going to have to Healy coil stuff, and it's not good. So take your time, crisscross pattern, and you'll be fine. And that's your torque specifications for that. Everything else is pretty straightforward stuff. You know, when you watch the book or look at the book, the manual will tell you what to do. And but I was asked a specific question, so I figured I would answer that in this video, and end that video or this video with that information. If you look at previous videos, I've done these differentials before. I just didn't put in a lot of information when it comes to specifics like torque specifications on certain bolts. But there you have it. And there's our Gear X457 that will be coming up soon in a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, ask questions, and I'll try to answer the best I can. See ya.